The most dangerous phase of a manipulative relationship isn't the fighting, it's the beginning, the part that felt perfect. If you've ever been swept up by someone who felt like fate, like finally, like a movie, and then watched that person transform months later, you've met love bombing. Today, what it is, why it works on smart people, the 5 signs, and the one test that separates it from genuine excitement. First, the honest complication. Early love bombing feels identical to being adored. That's not a side effect. It's the design. The overwhelming attention, the constant messages, the "you're not like anyone else" intensity. Nobody falls for love bombing because they're foolish. People fall for it because it's engineered to hit the exact things every human wants: to be seen, chosen, and certain. Here's what's actually happening underneath. Real intimacy is built slowly, through repeated evidence. You trust someone because they've shown you over time who they are. Love bombing manufactures the feeling of intimacy before any evidence exists. The intensity rushes you past the evaluation stage entirely. By the time you'd normally be asking, "Who is this person really?" you're already emotionally invested, already telling friends, already planning around them. Speed isn't a side effect of their passion. Speed is the strategy. And the intensity has a life cycle. Idealize. You're perfect. They've never felt this way. Everything moves fast. Devalue. The pedestal develops a trap door. The same qualities they worshipped become flaws. Warmth becomes something you earn. Discard or reset. Withdrawal, coldness, sometimes a full exit. And often, just when you adapt, the idealizing version returns for a while. If that loop sounds familiar from our Trauma Bond video, it should. Love bombing is how the machine gets built. Sign 1. The contact is bombarded. Good morning texts before you're awake, streams of messages all day, hurt feelings if you take 3 hours to reply. Early on, it reads as enthusiasm, but watch what it trains. Constant availability is the price of their happiness. Healthy interest leaves room for your life to keep existing. Love bombing quietly measures how much of your life you'll hand over. Sign 2. Massive declarations, tiny sample size. You're the one. They've never connected with anyone like this. Talk of moving in, of forever, of us against the world. Weeks in. Ask yourself one grounding question: what do they actually know about me yet? If the answer is not much, then the declarations aren't about you. They're about acquiring you. You can't love a person you haven't met yet. You can only love the speed. Sign 3. Generosity that keeps a ledger. Extravagant gifts, grand gestures, paying for everything, early and insistently. Generosity itself isn't a red flag. The tell is what happens later. The gifts get referenced. After everything I've done, after everything I've given you. What looked like giving was prepaying for compliance, and the invoice always arrives during the first real disagreement. Sign 4. Isolation dressed as devotion. Your friends don't get the relationship. Your family is against us. Why go out when we're so good together, just us? None of it arrives as a demand. It arrives as romance, as preferring you, as us versus the world. But map your calendar 3 months in. If the people who knew you before are being edged out, that's not closeness. That's removing the witnesses who'd notice you changing. Sign 5. And this is the test that matters most. Watch what happens when you set the pace. Say you want to take things slower. Take an evening for yourself. Reply tomorrow instead of tonight. A genuinely interested person might be disappointed, but they adapt because your comfort is part of what they want. A love bomber treats your pace as an attack: sulking, guilt, sudden coldness, or doubled intensity. The reaction to a boundary is the single most reliable data point in early dating. Excitement respects breaks. Strategy resents them. Side by side, the pattern is clean, and notice the theme running through every row. Genuine interest is curious about who you are. Love bombing is efficient about acquiring what you are. One is discovering a person, the other is closing a deal. It's worth saying why this works even on people who know better, because love bombing has a favorite season. It lands hardest on people in a drought, after a divorce, a loss, a long stretch of loneliness, a period of feeling invisible. Not because those people are weaker, but because the contrast is stronger. If you've been unseen for 2 years, being suddenly overwhelmingly seen doesn't read as suspicious, it reads as rain. Manipulative people are, functionally, drought detectors, which gives you a defensive rule of thumb. The more starved you are for exactly what someone is offering, the slower you should let them pour it. And the pattern isn't confined to romance. Friendships get love-bombed, the instant best friend who's texting constantly by week 2 and wounded by week 4 when you have other plans. Jobs love bomb, the company that calls you a rock star in the interview, family by the offer letter, and somehow that intensity converts into unpaid weekends because we're all in this together. Cult recruitment begins with the same move. Researchers literally borrowed the term from it. Anywhere devotion arrives before evidence, the same test applies. Set a normal boundary early and watch what the intensity does. So what do you do if you're seeing the signs? One move: slow everything down deliberately and watch. Don't announce a test, don't accuse, just introduce normal, healthy friction. Keep your Tuesday plans. Reply when you reply. Say, "I really like this, and I want to take it slower." Then observe. The person who was simply excited will still be there, still warm 3 weeks later. The love bomber will show you the second face: irritation, guilt-tripping, withdrawal. Because slow is the one thing the strategy cannot survive. Slow gives you time to see clearly, and being seen clearly was never the plan. And if you're not at the beginning, if you're months in, already isolated, already watching the warmth become conditional, the advice changes shape. You can't run the slowdown test retroactively, but you can run its cousin. Quietly reverse the isolation. Reconnect with one friend from before. Restart one thing that was yours. Don't announce it, don't frame it as a challenge. Just put one witness and one anchor back in your life and watch the reaction with clear eyes. The response to you rebuilding an outside world tells you everything the first month was designed to hide. If this video is landing painfully because you're already deep in one of these, already isolated, already on the devalue side of the loop, go watch the trauma bond video next. It picks up exactly where this one ends. And hear this part plainly. Being love-bombed is not evidence that you're naive. It's evidence that you're capable of wholehearted love, and someone treated that as a resource to harvest. The capacity is worth keeping. The next person to receive it should have earned it at normal speed. Follow for more psychology that protects your peace.